Hello, hello, hello again. Welcome to Vibing with Julzz, where we explore the world of entrepreneurship. Today, we are going to be talking about entrepreneurship and leadership combined, and we're going to talk about the fears and we're going to explore that world. My guest today is an amazing woman, beautiful too. She is a pillar in the community, and I've had the pleasure of working with her and doing some projects, and it's such an honor having her today. Well known as Adoyin, I will allow her to introduce herself.
Thank you, Jules, for bringing me on this show. Of course, my name is Adedoyin Omotara, and I'm the founder of Adoniaa. And it's just a pleasure to be here, really. No long bios. Let the conversation tell the bio.
Oh my goodness, this is going to be fun. So, all right, let's start it from there. So, when did you discover entrepreneurship in yourself?
That's a good question. When did I discover entrepreneurship in myself? I think from a very young age. So I went to the boarding school, and you know how it is when you're in school, boarding school from um, like grade. Let me see, GSS 1. It's called junior secondary school back home. So GSS 1 is like grade 7,
Yes.
right? So between grade 7 and grade 12, I was in a boarding school, and I would wear I would take undies to school, and my colleagues, girls hostel, they're like, I mean, my schoolmates in the girls hostel, they'll be like, oh, I really like your bra. I really like your pants. And I'm like, I could get them because we used to do all this shopping ourselves. My mom would just take all of us to the market. So I started taking them to school and selling them to my friends. Also, I used to have very nice frames, and I used to get them myself. Like my parents,
Wow.
and I really love that style of parenting. My parents would just say, you know what, yeah, so that's the shop. Go there and get what you want, and then I would just get what I want, and I started taking frames to school to sell to my glasses frames, like frames, and then they would just put their own prescription on it. So I just started doing things like that and started putting some money on, like some profits, some money on the cost price, right? And I'll make money, and basically that was how the entrepreneurship spirit in me like came alive, like from that young age. And I remember in university, um, I've always had this thing for makeup. I don't know where it came from. And I'm saying I don't know where it came from because um, I wasn't that kind of child that was just like into beauty, 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 and nothing, right? I was doing really well with my studies, math, physics, best in math, best in physics, best. So it didn't actually make sense, but I loved it. I loved like a red lipstick. I would go to my mom's vanity case, and use a red lipstick. I just loved the confidence that came with makeup, and I loved my mom wearing makeup. So back in school, when I did year 3, going to year 4, I did there was this internship that we used to do because I studied engineering. So year 3 to year 4, there was this internship we used to do. So I was in a company for about 6 months. And I don't know how it happened, but the man in charge of me, my supervisor, I was doing a training with him, an IT training, and he was also my supervisor. For some reason, I just used to see all of these Mary Kay cosmetics with him.
Wow.
So one day I said, what are you doing with all these Mary Kay cosmetics? I remember I was just like about 18, 19 then. What are you doing with all of these cosmetics? I didn't even know what Mary Kay was then. And then he said, oh, my sister in Switzerland usually sends them and she tells me to sell them. I don't even know how to sell them. I said, what? I can sell them for you. Oh my God. Like that was the highlight of my internship.
Wow.
And then I would carry, so he gave me all of those, stock. I would carry all of those things. I would go to the banks. Yeah, so I started thinking, how am I going to sell this product, right? And I had friends in the bank, like my sisters were already working in banks. So I had contact. And I know that bankers had money. So I will just, once I know one person, maybe my sister's friend or my sister, anyone, if I know one person in the bank, I'll just make an appointment. Can I come after hours, like 4 p.m. when you guys are done?
Nice.
And then I would go sell makeup and skincare to all the people. I went to all banks, back home. We had maybe like 10 to 12 different types of banks and different branches. And I sold millions in Naira as at 2005, 2006. I sold 2005 actually. I sold millions in Naira. And this Mary Kay supervisor or director in Switzerland actually wanted to meet me.
Oh, wow.
Who is this person making serious sales for me? And at that point, I knew there was something. It was natural. Nobody told me anything. I just knew how to sell it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, thank
It's
you.
one of the greatest discoveries because some journeys, you discover it through just an opportunity come,
Yeah,
and some people it's through ideas. Yours it just bloomed for you.
Like, I love sales. Sales is the easiest thing for me to do.
Oh my goodness,
earth.
I don't like it. It is to me, as an entrepreneur, I have been told, Julzz, you're a terrible saleswoman. I am so thankful that God has blessed me for talent that speaks for itself. I have had to learn to do it.
And I think we all need to discover our strengths, right? I do have staff that I know are better skilled than me when it comes to makeup artistry. But I want to sell. I just want to sell, not in a salesy way, but like I'm looking at you and I'm like, how can I add value to your life?
I like
right?
that.
And that's how I see sales. I'm not selling because I just want to collect your money. I know that there's a value I need to add to your life and that you need to return the value as well. So you paying me is you returning the value, and then I just add the value to your life. So I love to sell.
And that is entrepreneurship right there.
Yeah.
For a lot of the upcoming or hopeful entrepreneurs that are just in that stage of their life, what would you want to say to them?
So for me, why do you want to go into entrepreneurship? You need to try and understand why, because that is going to really drive you. I remember when I wanted to start entrepreneurship full time, I knew I had it in me, but I just wasn't sure it was going to be financially sustainable. And when you have options, I had, I was very lucky with jobs, with very good corporate jobs. And it goes back to me being able to sell myself. I could sell myself easily. There was no interview I went for that I didn't get the job. I got lots of offers at the same time, usually all the time. And so it was a tough getting into this entrepreneurship journey because I'm like, am I sure I'm going to have financial sustainability in the industry I want to go into, beauty? So I'm like, is it that you're high up there, like the Mary Kays, Bobby Browns, Estee Lauders, or you're just trying to find your feet,
True.
right? I'm like, I wasn't really sure, to be honest, when I started Adoniaa full time. So I had started it on the side, 2014. I wasn't even in Canada, I was in the UK, 2014. And people really loved the energy I brought into it. I got lots of clients. Getting clients is not even the issue. Got lots of clients, had lots of ideas. I partnered with a photographer then, so we're doing photo shoots for people. We're selling packages. And, that was how it started. And by the time we were relocating here in 2015, I thought, you know what, the way it was going, people were already saying, oh, Adedoyin, we know you're leaving for Canada, but can we still have an Adoniaa here? That was in Aberdeen. And in my mind, I'm like, I would love that, but I'm not there yet. Like, I just literally started like a year ago, 2014.
Planting
and we're
seeds.
leaving in 2015, and people were already saying, oh, you can license somebody, you can train someone, license them to work under the Adoniaa brand. And I'm like, well, I'm not there yet. That is the future, but I'm not there yet, right? So people already, it was so, the energy was a lot, not just from me, but even from my clients. A lot of them really said, oh my God, when you just gave us a taste of this and you're leaving. And then when we got here, I told my husband, I said, I want to try this entrepreneurship thing for at least 2 years. Focus, put all my focus in it. If it doesn't work out, it's not that deep. I'm going to go back to work.
Oh, it worked out. Congratulations on how
Right?
far you've come.
Thank you.
One of the, just getting through that journey is when you start to build and you start to grow leadership. So when you're starting, there's something like when you met that gentleman and he started, trusting you with those products to go sell, he was your leader. But then how do you, as an entrepreneur, when did you realize that you had leadership skills that you wanted to then be the one who was mentoring others, employing others? When did you recognize that in yourself?
Wow, that's powerful. So leadership, I wish I put a word to it. Like I wish I understood that everything I had been doing almost all my life was leadership. Right? So I'm someone that even from when I was young, so I'm the third of 5 children. Now my 2 younger ones they see me as the first of a second generation, right? And I remember as far back as when I was in elementary school, my parents would say, "You're so responsible, the way you look after your younger ones." We had house helps and things like that, but I never depended on them for anything. I would get home, get my younger ones their uniforms, and I would ensure it's washed. I just took sole responsibility of my younger ones. I felt they were my responsibility. In school, they would come to me if somebody bullies them, and I would go, fight for them and things
Whoa.
like yeah, like I was that sister they could count on. And then we all went to boarding school. Same thing. I was just that mother hen. And I remember even in high school, the proprietor of the school would come and go. He would just go, "Who's responsible?" And just go, "Doya Afolabi." He would just call my name. And that was my name, my father's name, Afolabi. He would call my name and go, "Okay, I need you to do this. I need you to do that." So all of those things were preparing me for leadership.
Yes.
I didn't know. I just thought you get it done. This has to be done. You get it done. I didn't wait for anyone. I just got things done, and I also knew how to mobilize people. I knew how to talk to people, to share a vision, and then mobilize people. Also, if I knew something, I would teach it. So I was always this mentor, right? Even right
Wow.
from school, people in my grade I would bring them together and teach them maybe a difficult subject in class, at a time like prep time or a time when people are supposed to be playing. I'll just go, "There's a tutorial at this time. You guys come around." So that was just me. I didn't know that was leadership, right? Also, when I started working, I discovered that beyond what was in the job description, I would go meet my manager. "Do you need help with anything?" Like, I don't know if you've. So, in the oil and gas industry, then when I was there, I felt that they were paying me for 37.5 hours, but the job I was doing, I could finish it in 1 day. So it didn't make sense. I'm like, "There's more. What can I do?" So I would go meet my manager. "What can I do?" So I started helping him to train new intakes, like graduates. Graduates. I set up a program for them. Just things to that I just wanted to add value and to be fully utilized. I wanted to maximize my potential, but I didn't even know it was leadership.
You did not wait.
No.
And you did not just depend on the title that was, allocated to you.
Thank you.
You just look around and you see what needs to be done,
That's the problem.
and need that's met, and needs that need to be extended.
Right.
And you just jump in and say, "Hey, I know I'm not getting paid for this, but I don't mind doing
I
this."
can do it.
And
Like,
that was
it's
always,
nothing.
and that's the great thing about just qualities like that.
Yeah.
Because some people believe, "Oh, I'm not the boss. I ain't doing that." I know it's add value to yourself, because it also promotes you as an individual.
Absolutely.
It teaches you to outgrow that space.
Yeah.
You can also have self-promotion
Thank you.
and then just move. And those around you will see it. Yes, it will create competition. Yes, it will create, animosity. But guess what? You will, at some point, somebody will look and say, "You don't belong here. You need to be this place." Outgrow your spaces,
Absolutely.
you know?
So I discovered that that's just who I am, and I see that in my kids as well, right? I'm just like, get it done.
I like that.
You do it. You're saying you want to do extracurricular activities. You want to be in soccer. You want to do competitive soccer 3 times. You are in charge of your schedule. I'm not gonna be running after you. You pack your water bottle. You do everything you need to do. My only job is to take you there because you're not driving,
I
right?
like that.
And they're so responsible. So maybe their coach might go, "Oh, parents do this." He's on the email. It's your responsibility to check the email.
I
You're
like that.
13. Even before I was 13, I'm like, that's your responsibility. So when they say parents, make sure you pack water, he's just like, he's not even a joke or what. Like, why will my parent pack my water? It
I
doesn't even
got
make
this.
sense, right? So that's also my style of parenting. From when they're young, whatever I feel they can do, I let them do it.
They
I let
need
them do it.
to.
Let them make their mistakes. Let them do it. And with my business, leadership came naturally to me, and I always tell my staff that you are all leaders. They ask me questions at times, and I'm like, "What do you think?"
Thank you.
I'm not going to think for you.
That's
No.
it.
And I've seen my staff really grow. So I have a staff that I guess from their I think it's a cultural thing where your boss is your GM, and they can't even look you in the eye and all of that. And I'm like, can you just call me my name? Don't call me any GM. And it took a while, but I've seen her confidence blossom.
Because you're saying to her, you can be independent.
Thank you.
Your mind is so you
Don't
can think
ask
for
me
yourself.
for everything.
Yes.
Where should I put it? What do you think?
Self-sufficiency.
What do you think?
Thank you. And one of the things that a lot of people don't realize is every one of us, we have qualities in us, even though we're not meant to be certain aspects of leaders, because being a leader doesn't mean that you're the boss. Being a leader doesn't mean you get to be a prime minister.
Leadership is responsibility.
Thank you. Responsibility for yourself. This is what you're supposed to do today. Take it, make it as magnanimous as you could in that moment.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And outshine yourself. Hey, I just had an idea. Let me try this. If you need consent to do it, that's okay. But
Absolutely.
explore yourself.
Yeah.
Explore your mind.
Yeah.
Blow their minds.
Yeah.
know.
That's it.
And the thing is, I think it's fear. It's one of the things, what we want to talk about now, it's fear. Fear is such a crippling factor, and somebody listening right now would be saying, oh, she has no fear. She don't know what it's like. Yes, you do.
Of course, everyone has.
Everyone has fear, but it's to make that determination and make that step in spite of the fear.
Absolutely.
What has been your greatest fear in your entrepreneurship with leadership? What would be your crippling factor that you had to get over?
Okay, so I think the biggest fear for me was when I realized that I was going to be committing time and money into this business. Now, knowing that I had options. So this fear came gripping at me just as I was about to open my first store. And I'm like, Adedoyin, are you sure you're not wasting money and time? In the next 5 years, are you sure you're not going to look back and say, why did I leave such a thriving career for this? And then that fear came again, like, you don't even look like the people that succeed in this business. Here you are with your product line. Who knows you? Who cares? Right? All of those words. And I started, then I read Mary Kay's book. I started to really research on Bobby Brown's story. Just females. I was looking more at women and how they built their beauty empires. And I just came crippling with fear that all of these women that are even successful in this environment do not look like you. Now, I have mentors back home, but then that fear came again. That is back home. You have a huge network. You have people that once they hear you're doing something, it wasn't like I didn't even understand marketing before, because I'd been doing makeup from when I was back home. There was no marketing. My sister's friends, all of them, as they're getting married, I do their makeup.
There you go.
So it wasn't, almost every weekend I was booked. I wasn't marketing myself. I just tell people I do makeup, and
It
and
went.
then that's it. So now starting something in a different environment. I had never really done this before. I took pride in the fact that, oh yeah, I worked at Subsea 7. I work at Packer Solutions. I work in these, prestigious companies, and it was so good. And then this was me making that decision for myself.
Yep.
Even my husband wasn't sure. I was like, okay, yeah, that's what you want. And I just, went right in with all of those fears. But as I had that fear, there was something in me that told me, you can do it. You can do it. And that was just so one of my favorite words or sentences or prayers is, God help me. Like, it seems to the world like I know what I'm doing, but I really don't know what I'm doing. God, it's you that is just breathing the ideas, breathing the inspiration, breathing everything on me. And then by the time, so what helped with the fear, to start to overcome the fear, not that the fear still doesn't come, is you start to gain confidence when you've achieved some things, right? So you're like, you did this, that means you can do this.
That's
you
right.
did this, that means you can do this. So for every step of success, it starts to really build your confidence, So, and really, that was how I started, and I really I think also having a vision also helps you. Like having a clear vision, like, okay, this is what I want to do, because there's nothing more overwhelming than lack of clarity.
True.
You don't know where you're going. You don't know if you want to stock your product in Sephora, or you need to know, because everything requires a pathway, right? And those pathways takes time.
That's right.
Time and focus. So you can end up spending a whole year doing something that doesn't even align with your vision.
Mm-hmm.
People come to me all the time. Why are products not on Amazon? They are not for Amazon.
That's correct.
Why are you not in Sephora? I don't want to be there.
You know what your vision
Right?
is.
And it's very easy to be confused, because somebody will come, a business consultant will come and tell you, you could be making millions. Why are you not? I'm like, well, but that is not the path that I see.
And it's one of the things that I have been diverted in my first business that I lost. I know that by experience, because I had a vision. It was a clear vision, but I was the only one with it. And so when all the noises and the voices around you is telling you what you want to do isn't okay, and you give in to that, you will fail, because you gave up on your vision.
Your personal vision, that it wasn't like a board meeting.
No, it's not.
Between you and God.
That's it. But I didn't have the faith. I didn't have the confidence for me to say, you know what? No matter what y'all say, I know what I'm about. But I decided to start again and stick to that vision. And she lives. Not because I listened to anybody, but I realized, I said, okay, God, you told me that I have to trust you, but because you gave me a vision. So I'm going back to square one, and I'm going to trust you.
Absolutely.
And so you have to know within yourself. It is a nagging feeling that says to you, this is your vision. Sometimes the closest person to you, you will explain it to them, and they will not get it. But if you have that burning desire, I say, power forward.
And it catches, it's like fire. When you keep moving, people talk.
Yes, they do.
And some people are bold enough to even come and meet you and tell you what you're doing is crap. Like, you did this, it doesn't make sense. Why don't you? But when you focus and you have that energy and passion, it's just so contagious that before you know it, you start to see your tribe.
That's it. That is it. You have to prove yourself.
Yeah.
And the right people will believe in you.
You start to see your
Yes.
tribe. For me, when I launched Adonia products in 2016, and I was beginning to think, okay, what's next? Yes, I have this beautiful business plan. I don't even know what I was doing when I was writing the business plan. But then I started to ask. That was when it dawned on me. I had the first fear. Like, okay, am I sure I want to commit time into this? And I sat down. You know, when you just launch a product, everybody's expecting for you to blast the product everywhere.
Ooh, pressure.
And you had this big event. It was my first event in Calgary. I don't even know how I got the hall full, but it was full. I call that grace. I
Amen.
call that grace for people wealth. I have people wealth, and I know that for sure, and I know it's grace. Then I only knew one person coming to Calgary. And by the time I had an event a year after, the hall was full, and the one person I knew didn't even show up. Anyway, story for another day. So, I started to think, why am I doing makeup? No, you need to ask. You need to
It's true.
you need to sit on the floor at times, and just ask yourself why.
You have to have those conversations with yourself.
So I started to ask, why am I doing makeup? Like, why am I spending so much money buying inventory? Why am I trying to convince people to wear makeup? Why? I just started to ask myself, what is this? Why do I want to leave my career that I already had so much experience in? I was a manager before I was 28 years old in a thriving oil and gas company. Why do I want to leave all of that and start from scratch and start to rebrand myself as a makeup artist? So people that know me in Calgary know me as a makeup artist. But people that knew me from the UK, they're like, no, Adoyin was hiring and firing. Like she was this big girl in the oil and gas industry. So, but then I that was when I started to discover that even branding has to be intentional. It was very intentional for me to come into Calgary as a makeup artist to build the Adoyin brand. It was very important for people not to be messed up in their mind that, oh, she's an engineer, why is she doing it? You know, it was it was an intentional
Yes.
thing for me. And when I started to move out of makeup artistry, when I started to build the brand in a way that I have staff and all, I wanted to start building the business and remove myself from the business. I had people fight me as well. Like, why are you, you're my makeup artist? Well, I'm like, I'm sorry, let my staff do it. You do even a better job. I'm running more than 2 stores now, and I need to move on. And people are literally fighting me because I want to scale my business, because I don't want to do their makeup again. I'm like, it's not your fault. It's because I branded myself as a makeup artist. Now I'm rebranding as an entrepreneur.
And that's one of the hardest transitions too. With you struggle with yourself. So you've built that clientele, and hands-on is such a personal,
I know.
it's just it's so personal. And some people, to them, that's it.
I know.
For the rest of my life, Doyin is going to
gonna
do
be
my
a makeup
makeup,
artist.
Julzz is going to do my hair, and it's like we can't retire. But you have to understand that you have to announce yourself with your growth. You cannot speak it. You have to show it, to say, you know what, I have a team that I'm building, and I have a team that I trust. They're not who I am. But guess what? The brand that I am building, you can trust your hair and your makeup and
Thank you.
yourself.
Thank
And you can trust my brand.
Thank you.
I only have 2 hands, and I can only do 1 client at a time. But if you allow me to announce the leadership I'm creating, you will realize that we're creating leaders. And so I've had to learn that, you know?
Absolutely. And yeah, for people that care to listen, that's exactly what I tell them. I'm like, this brand will not grow beyond me if all I'm doing is this. Like,
Yes.
And if you've been with me for a while, you will understand the vision. Anyway, back to the story I was sharing. I started to ask, like, why am I doing makeup? I had so many other options. I had other things I could be doing. Why am I doing makeup? And that was the very first encounter I had with God. I
Wow.
heard it clearly. He said, the makeup is only a platform. I want you and I need you to connect with women. I need you to connect these women to their unique and individual beauty. A lot of women are fearful. A lot of women don't think they are enough. I want you to speak life into them.
And that was when Adoniaa Beauty community was born.
Thank you.
So in that, and because I have witnessed some of the women who were your clients that you mentored, who grew, and now you're creating leaders for brands.
Absolutely.
You understand? And then when you started Adoniaa Collective, that's another branch that you were able to do.
Goodness.
Because the thing is, the brand, you own a brand, but who you are speaks through everything that you do.
Thank you.
And being able to witness that and also, collaborate with you and be a client also, I am truly, truly, truly blessed and honored to say congratulations
Thank
because
you.
you're not done yet.
Thank you so much,
And
Jules.
seeing Adoniaa Collective is where there are some entrepreneurs who start their products and they're on such a small scale. And you're looking to get known and get acknowledged and just get noticed. And so Adoniaa Collective is where you can have a shelf space.
My goodness.
Start with, minimum overhead and build. And that is amazing.
You know, for me, the definition of a miracle is the execution of a vision. You see something in your mind and then you see it live. The collective is something I didn't even know. I didn't even know. I didn't know that was what it was called. But that is who I am. Community is the first, building community is the very first personal value that I have. I don't believe in eating alone, no
I
matter
agree.
how small.
I agree.
Now, people may think, oh, she has arrived because of the community. No matter how small, as I say, I do not believe in eating alone.
I agree.
We better eat it together.
And then we grow.
And then we grow.
Yes.
And then we come up with ideas on how to get more.
Yes, and expand.
So even with when I opened my first store on Boat Trail, I had people come to me to say, "Oh, Doyin, I would like to put some of my products here." That wasn't my plan. My plan, I had seen models that I wanted to run with. Models like Merlin Norman, Carol Baker Visage, where you have your boutique studio and you franchise it. That had always been my dream, and it is still my dream. But you know what? The way God wants to do yours, even if you see a model that you're attracted to and you're inspired by, and you're trying to build your brand around that model, your own signature will still come out.
That's
it will never be a
correct.
copy and paste.
That's true.
Never. So I was just like, I want to franchise my company like Merlin Norman. I like the idea of it. I like Carol Baker. I started really researching those brands are on my business plan because those are, and they're, what I really like about them is Merlin Norman is over 90 years old. So these are brands that they have stood the test of time. All other brands come, but if you enter a Merlin Norman, you're going to try their makeup, try their skincare, and it's been around for 90 years. It shows that there's something good happening there.
That's right.
And by the time my values started, because your personal value is going to show up in your business, because your business is an extension of you.
That's
Of
right.
who you are. So I couldn't say no to some of these brands. I'm like, yes, anything to help you as well. I remember one of my friends, had a product that was completely different from a beauty product. And I would tell her to come into the store, just regularly and meet up with clients. Maybe some of them may want to buy what she wants to buy. So Adoniaa Collective started right inside Adedoyin Beauty.
I saw that.
Right inside
Yes.
Adedoyin Beauty. So even when we moved to Westbrook, at that point, when COVID hit in 2020, I started to coach people on how to start their own beauty businesses. Because people don't even know, even things that I just saw on Google, private labeling.
They don't
People
know
think,
how to.
Doyin, how do you make your product? I want to make my own skincare too. And I'm like, well, if you have a formula or if you can learn from this website, that website. But for me, I know my strength. My strength is not in mixing products. Even if I know how to, I'm not going to sit there and do it. My strength is in sales and marketing. So I would rather work with a company that has a finished product that I like, which is private labeling. A lot of them.
Yes.
I coached about 10 to 12 women then that came into my course then. They knew nothing about private labeling.
That's wonderful.
It's all over Google.
And then,
And then I trained them. And then by the time they were done, they were like, okay, how do we sell? And then you give them different channels. But the easiest one, because a lot of them were beauty products, was, can we put our products in your store?
yep.
And what did I do? We had two different sections. A whole section, I removed the Adoyin products. And I just made sure we fit into one section. And I started to sell shelf spaces. And that was when Collective started, but I didn't know it was called Collective. I didn't know to call it Collective because it was all beauty. And then later, other brands started coming. Oh, can you just pull my products behind? Because I know you have a way with your clients, just help. And I started selling chin chin in a beauty store. I started selling spices. I started selling, those things were not was not out in the public. It was just behind. But then
Yes.
while my client is waiting, I'm just like, oh, there's this chin chin I want you to try. They try, they're like, oh, I want to buy. We have.
There you
And then I
go.
sell a box of chin chin for to them. I sell spices. I sell other things. And I'm like, this is getting ridiculous. How are we going to? And I'm a structure person because I've worked in corporate. I like to see sustainability. That's not sustainable. All those things are not going to sell if I'm not there.
That's
My
true.
staff is not part of their job description to be selling all those things. So how do we make this sustainable? And that was when the idea of Adoniaa Collective came. I'm like, why can't we have a space where it's for Black entrepreneurs or women entrepreneurs? I'm more into women. Women entrepreneurs, majority will be Black.
That's true.
Because I know that we are the ones that we don't even, you need to literally go and pick them from their houses. Like, come out.
I've noticed that. They're so
out.
they would just think, oh no, it's just a little idea for my
I'm
family.
like, come out. So I'm like, I see that problem.
Mm-hmm.
And we are going to create a platform for people to at least try out the business model.
And what we want also hopeful entrepreneurs to do, or even you're not realizing, if you have at least a product that you're selling to your family and it's working, come on out.
Come out.
Reach out and
Yeah.
let's get you connected.
And it was shocking because I reached out, of course, I had my little community of people that were already in Adoniaa. And I'm like, let's leave Adoniaa Beauty as Adoniaa Beauty. Let's go into the collective and make some noise. So I had maybe about 6 to 8 women that were already on board. And before I knew it, by the time, within 3 to 4 weeks, we had gathered about, was it 32 entrepreneurs?
There you go.
And I got a space where the mall I was at the time. I just told them I needed a space temporarily, even if it's for 3 months. I just want to try out this idea, just the idea of it. And within 3 months, we got so much press coverage.
Wow.
My goodness, almost every day, especially during Black History Month, I was getting an email. Can you get a few of your entrepreneurs to come and be interviewed? Can you get, some of them had never been on the news before. They had never been interviewed before. And then I would just reach out. Oh, can I get 4 entrepreneurs today? Sorry, it's coming late, but yeah, this is as quick as I could get. And that was how it just started growing. And 3 months, after 3 months, before the end of the 3 months elapsed, because I only had a 3-month lease for that space at that time, because they said the space was going to somebody else, but not yet. So I went to another mall, and I was like, we just wanted to do a market, Black History Month market. So I'm like, okay. And then we got there, and I'm like, this is a better mall. This even has more traffic. Why can't we even stay here? So at the end of 3 months, I ended my lease with the other mall, and then this other mall gave us a lease.
And a fixed store for Adoniaa Collective is born.
And that was how we literally, like, Adoniaa Collective will be one this weekend. I'm like, one. This was a business. Thank you. This was a business that I kicked off with. You know what? Let's see how it's going to work. And the fear I had was, it's different if it's my own business, because I know that I would do everything to make it work. But then this is a business where you're giving people 6 monthly contracts. And you're like, you know what? So you're making people, commit to 6 months. And after 6 months, they can decide to leave or stay.
That's
so
right.
that does not help you have a stable kind of picture, especially with the overhead. You're not sure, after 6 months, what if I don't have enough vendors? How am I going to cover the cost? So that crippled me for a bit. Like, I'm like, I don't even know if it's going to continue. Let me just focus on my Adoniaa Beauty. I don't even know. And then when vendors start to leave after 6 months, you're like,
now what?
Now, Julzz, people are on waiting lists.
That is amazing.
I'm the one telling myself, I don't know if I want to open another brand. And for me, that's the first business I would start without my money. If you understand what I mean.
Yes.
It's everybody's money is literally paying for the rent, and paying for the staff.
Yes. It's taking care of itself.
And I'm like, this is it. This was the vision I saw. Doing the makeup. It was clear. The makeup is only a platform. That makeup platform is going to be there. That beauty platform I've given you. But look beyond the makeup, the beauty. Look connects to the woman more.
And it's not just that. There's a faith when you trust God. When you were talking earlier on about your idea for what you wanted for the franchise, franchise is the word, yes. And yes, you've seen models as to, okay, this is a good example. Thank you for that inspiration and motivation. So it's like that, that picture on your fridge that says, that's my goal. But then as you exercise your faith and you take one step forward, because we don't know what 10 steps forward is. All we know is I'm going to take this first step by faith. And God has unraveled his plan in that. And your vision, there's parts of your vision that are clear as to I want a certain goal. But there's certain details about it that you discover because you did not envision Adoniaa Collective.
Thank you. I could easily say anywhere that these are fresh insights from God. That you just needed to take. This morning, I was still telling my husband, why didn't I just start with Adoniaa Collective? Life would have been easy. I've spent so much money on Adoniaa Beauty. Some months are profitable, some months are not. I was just ranting.
But
and it was like that. Adoniaa Beauty, that was your stepping stone.
But you had to have that journey.
I had to.
Never knock small beginnings.
I had to.
Yes.
I had to. And now Adoniaa Beauty is a part of Adoniaa Collective. And I just see how, I don't even know, it's just a miracle. For me, Adoniaa is a miracle. And that's why I say, whether I stop doing makeup or I continue doing makeup or whatever, Adoniaa remains. It's a legacy for me. It's just, for me, it's proof that God exists.
Amen.
And that he talks to us.
We're still missing something. We haven't talked about the conferences. And let's talk about the last conference.
Oh, my goodness.
This was my third conference attending. And it was an absolute honor being a guest as a panelist on there.
You were terrific, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. But seeing, being, learning, embracing, there are parts of your life that just as a person, if you don't allow, you have to allow a certain freedom of your, not everything you're in control of. But you have to allow a mental freedom so you can embrace, learn, and look around, and then just take it in. And I've been able to watch you do your thing while I'm doing my own thing. One doesn't distract from the other.
At all.
One inspires the other. And we look around, and that's why we ain't got time for envy.
No.
We going.
No
You
time.
grow,
You're
I
so
grow, we put
busy.
together.
You're so focused. The woman is busy.
That's it. But with being busy individually, you have to understand it's not about self. The focus is within self.
Oh.
This here is a simple vessel of God. It has been through trials, every single one of us. It has been whooped, it has been licked, it has been picked up and beaten down again in different aspects and areas. But when you allow faith, no matter what, no matter who, and you just relentlessly, you're like, there's something in me that's saying, get up. And you get up. And we're witnesses. Our lives are testimonies of just getting up. And we're not done getting up yet. Don't think for 1 second that there isn't something beating us down right now.
know.
You get up in spite of it. When we were talking about fear, one of my fears was I was afraid of the size of the ideas I had. I'm sure you've had some of those moments. You're sitting there and you're thinking, you gotta be kidding me. Me do this.
You see the future and you're like, you don't even know how you're going to get there. You know what? I'm just going to focus on what I see in front of me right now.
Thank you. I'm even afraid to lift my foot because I'm afraid where it's going to land. But seeing the last conference was sold out. And I remember you saying we had to downsize the tables just so we can incorporate to be able to have some of the entrepreneurs for the vendors.
Vendors, yeah.
To be at that point, that is upscaling. And to be already advertising for 2024, congratulations.
Thank you.
Tell us about, just that scaling level right there.
So, on Mask Your Beauty conference for me is that thing that ties everything that I do together. Because I've had people ask me, like somebody really asked me genuinely one time, oh, well, we don't even know. Are you a makeup artist? Are you an image consultant? And then you're doing a conference? Are you a non-profit organization? Are you, you know? And then I remember telling her, whenever you think about me, just know that I'm on a mission to invest in the dream of girls and in the strength of women.
That's it.
I can do that through any expression. You cannot box me. So forget it. If you don't think I'm a makeup artist, and if you don't think my makeup artist can do the job, go to another makeup artist. Like those things don't bother me. I'm here to build a brand. I'm not a self-employed. I'm building a brand here.
That's it.
So if you don't get it, forget about it.
I think a lot of people are confused with I am the brand.
Yeah.
We are not brands. We own brands. We're building brands.
Absolutely.
And so when you see yourself not limited to a brand, you could have different brands.
Thank you. Anyway, so back to the conference. So the first conference happened in 2016 when I launched Adoniaa Beauty products. And it wasn't called a conference. It was called Adedoyin Beauty Product Launch, themed on Mask Your Beauty. Because that name just came when I was thinking, why am I even doing all of this? And to help women unmask their beauty, that name Unmask Your Beauty, I didn't understand the full depth of the meaning. But one thing I knew that I was about was I didn't want there to be a specific standard to beauty. So you know how you would go to Model Miami and all of these fancy brands or modeling agencies to get models that have been trained to walk a certain way, to look a certain way.
That's the signature.
And bring them. I didn't want to do that. So a few makeup artists helped me on the day, and I told them, we're just going to pick people that came for the conference. Pick them, and they're the ones that are going to walk the runway to showcase our makeup.
Nice.
Like anyone you feel like picking, pick. Everybody is beautiful. So on that day, people were made up. So it wasn't like some models were planned. Just in the crowd, people were made up, and they walked the runway, and we asked them what beauty meant to them. And people said different things. Beauty means confidence. Beauty means this. Beauty means that. And I remember there was a lady in a hijab, and she said she had never felt that confident before. Even on her wedding day, she was all covered up, and she couldn't look up. And after the conference, yes, we did sell some products, but after the conference, the emails I got from people was, I really love that program. It wasn't even called a conference. It was just a product launch.
Mm-hmm.
But for people, what lingered on for people were not the products. It was the messaging. It was the impact. Like, after the conference, I just feel like doing more. I'm so inspired. And I'm like, that was when I started to write those things down. I feel so uplifted. And I started to gather the things. And that was where if you go to my website, say, we have 4 pillars. We uplift women. We inspire women, right? We educate women. So all of those things I got from what people were saying. And that was when I said, it got me thinking. I went into a hole, like, I got so scared. I'm like, what is this? I just wanted to launch a product. I just wanted people to buy my product. Now people are saying something else. I don't even understand. What's this thing people are saying? Like, you really inspire me. I really, like, can you mentor? I'm like, mentor what? I'm only, I don't even know what I'm doing.
My plate is full.
I don't even know what I'm doing. And that was when I started to ask God, why am I doing makeup? Like, what is this? What is this you're putting in my hands? I don't even understand what I'm doing again. And that was when it occurred to me. Yes. I put this interest in you for a reason. I had to ask because I have so many other skills. I could be making so much money as at that time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I put this interest in you and this passion in you because it is a platform to easily connect with women. And as you know, Julzz, you're a hairstylist. You know how vulnerable women can be when they're in your chair.
Yes.
I've connected with hundreds of women in Calgary. And it seems, people call me Doyin, mayor of Calgary. You know, so many people. And not just knowing, I connect with people.
True.
We don't have to be 5 and 6. But when we connect. We know ourselves.
Oh, yes.
So And God said, connect with these women. Bring out the beauty that they don't even think they have. Bring it out. So you're not only painting faces, girl. You're
You
painting
paint in
hearts.
hearts. That's right.
It was clear. And I was like, so how do I do this? I don't even know. This one that we're unmasking, we're saying people should unmask their beauties, makeup not masking. And God said, change the names of your lipsticks. At that time, I just Googled lipstick names when I was naming my lipsticks when I first launched. Scandalous, Ruby Red, and all. I didn't really care. And then God said, change the names of those lipsticks.
What was the first
Change
name
them.
you changed?
At that time, when he said change the name of your lipsticks, I sat down there and I wrote 72 words. I am beautiful. I am unique.
There
I
you
am inner truth, magnificent, unmask your beauty. And I started writing right there. It was inspirational. Today, people buy my lipsticks for their seminars, for conferences, for women, anything that has to do with women. Anywhere I share my story, people just come back and buy the lipstick that they want to use it as souvenirs because of the names they carry. They don't care if the lipstick is good or not. And that's why I'm like, my business has nothing to do with the product.
No, it doesn't.
Like, I say it. So it didn't make sense to me when all of this was happening. So about that time, I started reading a lot of leadership books. And I read this book, Starts With Why. And he said, Simon Sinek said, you cannot compete based on products, based on quality, and he wrote all of these criteria that people usually compete with. He said because somebody will come. He said based on product, based on product quality, based on price, and based on all of these criteria. He said because somebody else will come that is cheaper than you,
That's true.
or that has better quality, and then you are really making it maybe in the 2000s, and then by the time you enter, or maybe in the 90s, and then you enter 2000s, and then somebody easily crashes you. He said businesses that are built to last
Yes.
focus on their why.
And that is the impact.
It was powerful. Those things changed the way I ran my business and the way I still run my business. So you won't find me doing, you won't see me competing. He said you can't compete based on that. Your competition is you. You. Your vision, your why is what you put behind that product. And he had so many examples to give. He said, look at Apple. Apple is there to disrupt the industry. Like, they're not doing anything new. Apple did not come up with any new product like, oh, they're the first people to come up with computer. No. Or they're the first people to... He said Apple came up with computers, phones. If Apple enters into the automobile industry, they're also going to do well. Because people are now used to the fact that Apple is here to disrupt the status quo. Yes, there is Coke, let there be Pepsi. Do you understand?
Yep.
So Apple is more of a Pepsi wannabe. Like, yes, there is something people like, but here we are.
There's
Like,
space
we are
for everybody.
Thank you. We're disrupting the status quo. And then they come with their own excellent products as
Yes.
well. Right? So I read that and it completely just really helped me to understand what God has been trying to teach me with my brand. That it's not about, because there's so many companies doing products, and I would only put out products that I can wear, that I know are quality. And then I'm just like, what's even different in what I'm doing? And God said, you are the one that is different.
That's
You
right.
are the one that has an assignment that I want you to use this platform to deliver.
That's it.
So people are
Because-
wearing my lipsticks and they're so happy. Oh, I'm wearing inner truth. Oh, I'm wearing desire. Oh, I'm wearing magnificence. I feel so. Somebody really sent me a message and said, Doye, I'm at one of the lowest periods of my life, lowest seasons of my life. And your lipsticks are what's keeping me. I look at them and I'm like, I'm worthy. I am worthy.
I got a gift from the last conference.
Okay.
And then I turned over and read the name of the box. I don't remember that one, but I have a few of them. And I kept the box. You know how we normally just get the lipstick, toss out the packaging?
Yeah.
I kept the box because of the name on it. So I personally can testify to that. Because no matter how driven you are, no matter how focused you are, no matter where you reach in your life, inspiration and a reminder to be inspired
Goodness.
is always, needed. And when you're talking about it, and all I can see is that box that's sitting there, and I kept the box just so I can see the name continuously right there. You know, there are all these little reminders. They create anthems for our lives. So wherever we're at,
Absolutely.
you know, thank you for sharing your story and just, helping us to see you truly. This was just, it's so insightful. There's, with leadership, there is one other thing I want to touch on. And there's such a misconception of being a boss, and some people they get to grow, but an arrogance comes with it. And so many people, I've heard a lot of people be afraid to grow because, they don't want to be arrogant and they think bosses are arrogant, not realizing that humility is key. You understand? And humility is not something you just pick up. It has to be a part of who you are. It has to be how you see life and how you see people.
Absolutely.
Tell us your balance of just ensuring that arrogance is not part of your journey, and that how do you tell, entrepreneurs, how to recognize confidence versus arrogance.
Yeah, so I totally hear what you're saying, but I think it starts with understanding that leadership is not about you. Like you need to die to self. It's a responsibility to serve.
That's correct.
You need to serve. When you serve, even your staff, people that are sick, they would, because they know that it's not about you. It's about that vision. We are all trying to work towards, you know, um, 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 executing that vision. So you're pointing them to that vision and not yourself. It's not about people worshiping you. And let me tell you, good leaders, that is how they operate.
That's correct.
People have often asked me, how do you always sell out on your conferences and things? And I'm like, because it's not about me. I said, there are so many, it's about giving people platform to shine their light. It was very clear when I heard that. So I cannot be there every year sharing the Adoniaa story or telling people to breathe, telling people, when there are other people that I know are equipped to do that. And that's what makes it successful, because everyone goes up there on stage as a leader. So it's not about Adoniaa, it's not about me. I don't have to be the keynote speaker every year. Same thing, and not just the conference, same thing as everything that we do. Like we have clients, I don't have to be the one to always attend to you. There are other people that we're trying to bring up so that their lights can shine too and they can be confident as well.
Yes.
So it's really about understanding the vision and understanding that people are like the biggest resources you need in executing a vision.
That's correct.
Now, how do you become a people person? How do you mobilize people? How are you able to share your vision and people run with it? People have often asked me, and I'm like, because you make them part of the vision.
That's right.
They are part of the vision. I tell people, you are Adoniaa. You are Adoniaa. I am Adoniaa. I am a woman that wants to better their lives. I am a woman that wants to be empowered. You are as well. So everybody finds their place in Adoniaa. If you don't come for makeup, you buy the product. Don't buy the product at the conference. Everybody finds their place.
That's right.
So it's really about understanding how to add value to people. That way, you become a value magnet, and you start to also attract value.
That's
in
true.
terms of people wealth, financial wealth, and a lot of people also focus on just the money, not understanding that a lot of times it's the people that bring the money. So people wealth is even bigger than money, because when you have that, money is only an outcome. It's a result. It's going to come. So why don't you focus on building people? Why don't you focus on adding value to people?
Thank you, Adoniaa. So eloquently put. Thank you for joining me today. This was, I really enjoyed, I always enjoy talking to you.
I know.
So we wish you well,
Thank you.
blessings, and just all of us can just keep growing and realizing some are created with visions that help others see their visions. It's not about self.
Absolutely.
There's no purpose without God.
Nah.
And so once we keep that focus, we will all excel. Thank you. Thank you again
Thank
for
you.
joining me today. And don't forget to share, tell your friends about us, Vibing with Julzz. It was an honor having you join us on this episode. We will see you next time. And don't forget, excel with us or get out of our way. See you next time.
Love that.